So sorry. Would you believe I got like 9 hours of sleep last night and I'm still so tired? Granted, I had like a random burst of just like really productive energy for like 3 hours this morning. It's now 1:40 p.m. So from like like 9 to like noon, I was like getting so much work done. And now I'm like, but I need to record this video before I go to class later. So here we are. March, it's time for my March update. And I'm like weirdly not able to grasp exactly what that means right now, like in the concept of time and space. Like I know March is over, or it's about to be over, and that means that I'm like over the halfway point in the semester. But like to me, the end of the semester feels very close, but also still very far away. And so I just kind of feel like I'm here, if that makes sense. Anyway, yeah, I don't know why I just went on that tangent. But yeah, March, it's time for my March update. And it's probably gonna be a quick one because I don't feel like I have much to talk about. So yeah, let's just jump right in. Hey, hello, my name is JoJo and welcome back to my channel. Or if you're new here, welcome. All right, so jumping right into my classes. Classes have been moving along. It's like nothing to see here. My classes have been very smooth, or at least smoother than previous semesters. So starting off with diagnostic neuropsych testing, I have a volunteer for that class. I have already seen my volunteer for our testing session. I don't know, I recorded a little bit of that day. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to edit that vlog in time to go up before or after this video. In all honesty, it's probably gonna be after. So sometime after I upload this update, you will see a vlog that has a glimpse of that day in it where I was prepping for my testing session. And yeah, it was like 1 3-hour long session. I got the entire battery done in those 3 hours, which was very nice. So now that I have the session done and the scoring mostly done, I just have to finish the scoring and then start writing up her report, which is not a report that she's going to be able to use. It's a report that's strictly just for the purposes of like learning how to write a report. And I'm just going to submit it to my professor for the final paper of the class. And the reason that this isn't like an official report that she can use is 1, because she's a volunteer who's getting paid to volunteer for the class. And 2, some of the tests that we administered in the battery are tests that we all learned for the first time in this class. So we were bound to make mistakes. And so it's really just strictly for learning purposes. But yeah, I mean, overall in the class, it's been fine. It's very dull, but like in an interesting way, if that makes sense. I like learning assessments. I like learning about them. I like learning how to do them. I like actually administering them. Scoring is tedious, but what are you gonna do? It comes with the territory. But in addition to learning the assessments and learning like what they're for and you know how to interpret them and all of that, and learning all of that, you also learn how these tests are used to diagnose different disorders, either like neurodegenerative disorders or like deficits that arise from like traumatic brain injuries and all of that. We learn all of those things and like all the different disorders and diseases, but I feel like sometimes the lectures get a little bit too in the weeds with those topics. And then that's where the lectures get boring. Like it almost sometimes feels like I'm back in high school taking like anatomy and physiology, you know? And I get that it's like important to learn in the context of the information, but like I didn't really sign up for that. Like I don't want to be looking at MRI scans and CAT scans of brains for like 15 minutes of the lecture. Like I just don't. So I mean, dull but interesting. The professor for the class is fine. I just think sometimes the lectures can get a little boring. So yeah, that's neuropsych. Next class, advanced stats. I'm not going to talk much about this class. We had our midterm recently. I passed. That's all I really care about. And now it's just like straight shot to the final. That's it. This class gets literally like the bare minimum for me. I exert the least amount of effort in that class. So yeah. I think I recorded a little bit of me in that class too. It was a day where the lecture was moved to Zoom, and so I was home, so I could record myself like freely. And I think I recorded a little bit of me just like trying to follow the lecture, and it not really working out. So that footage is probably gonna be in the vlog too. Yeah. And then externship seminar with my very handsome professor. Class is great. It's going really well. I really enjoy the class. Beyond my crush on my professor, I actually feel like I'm learning a lot in that class. It's just been really nice to sit in a seminar and have a professor explain like theory to me in a way that makes sense, because I don't feel like I've had that experience so far. In my first year of the program, I took 2 different theory classes, one for psychodynamic and the other for CBT. And in both of those classes, it kind of felt like I was trying to make sense of just like word salad being thrown at me. And so I feel like I never really got the theoretical foundation that I would like to have had at this point. And I feel like I'm finally getting that. And I'm actually trying to take that theory and then integrate it into how I work clinically. And I feel like things are finally starting to come together, and it feels really good. So you can see by the smile on my face, I actually am really enjoying that class this semester. It's my favorite class. I just hate that it's so late at night. It's a 6 to 8 p.m. class. Real sidetrack, 6 to 8 p.m. classes should not be a thing. I feel like classes after 6 p.m. just shouldn't exist. What do I look like leaving my apartment, the comfort of my walls and my bed, which is behind my phone camera? What do I look like leaving my apartment and my bed at 5 p.m. to go to a class? I hate that. It is the worst feeling. I feel like we need to just ban classes after 6 p.m. They just shouldn't be allowed. Anyway, but yeah, I'm really enjoying that class, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of the semester. That's actually the class that I have today. So yeah, that class has been great. We've been learning a lot of theory. But yeah, those are my classes. The other class that I think I forgot to mention in my first update video that is kind of a class but not really a class is my counseling center seminar. And really that's just kind of just been what it is. I mean, we meet weekly, go over some readings. We've had more presentations this semester than we did before. It's been a lot less reading and more presentations, as far as like from people who also work in the counseling center who have like their own specialties. We had someone present on like eating disorders and how to kind of assess for those when you're meeting a client for the first time. We just had someone present, one of my supervisors actually, we just had her present on Gestalt. I can never pronounce it right. Gestalt therapy, which I've also gotten like from her one-on-one, so that was really interesting. We just had my other supervisor present on how to work with climate anxiety, which was very interesting because I've actually had a couple clients talk about climate anxiety and I was not really sure what to say back other than, yeah, fucking sucks that it feels like the world is ending. So yeah, that was a pretty interesting presentation. But yeah, we've had just a few presentations over the semester that have been really interesting to engage with. And I guess talking about the counseling center seminar, that kind of leads me into my clinical work. No really big updates there. I'm just continuing to rotate through clients. We're kind of at the point in the semester where any new clients we get from this point on will not be able, at least if they're seeing like me or another extern, they won't be able to get their full 10 sessions that they're typically allowed to get, which feels very wrong to me. And I'm having a hard time being okay with it. Like I have an intake scheduled fairly soon actually, and like in that intake I have to let them know that like we're only gonna have X number of sessions to work together and it won't be the full 10. And something about that just doesn't sit right with me. I get it, you know, I'm leaving, my externship ends at the end of May, and they're, you know, unfortunately coming in at a time where we have a pretty significant wait list, I think, right now. And so by the time they're getting their intakes, the times just don't align. But I just feel like then they shouldn't be assigned to me or another extern. Like, just have us finish out with the clients that we do have, the ones that we can actually make it to 10 sessions with, and then either like have the other students just come in for like, we have these things called flex sessions, which are basically like you're just coming in for a check-in session with like a counselor. So I'm like, why can't we just do those so that they're not like starting thinking that they're getting their full 10 sessions and then we have to tell them they can't? Or just like refer them out to people who can see them more consistently. I don't know. I'm dealing with a lot of feelings about it. I've actually talked to one of my supervisors about it. I just feel like it's not fair to the students who are reaching out for help. And I want them to be able to get the help they need and deserve. And I feel like starting them at the counseling center knowing that they're not going to be able to take full advantage of the service is a little unfair to them. But I don't want to go on a rant, so we're just going to leave it there. Other than that, I feel like my clinical work is going really well. I'm actually getting ready to terminate with quite a few of my clients, like all kind of within a few days of each other. So it is very likely that in a couple of weeks I will have like a whole new set of clients, like from top to bottom, just because of how the timing has worked out with the ones I'm currently seeing. But yeah, I mean, I think I said this in my last update. I feel like clinically I'm tapping into something new within myself that feels really good to be tapping into, and I feel like I'm doing really good work. Almost every time I'm in supervision now, like, and I'm showing videos, my supervisor like commends me on the work that I'm doing, and it feels really good. So I'm just hoping that that continues to grow, and my clinical skills continue to build. But yeah, and then there's research. So I have made some progress research-wise. So I know in my last update, I did that whole like, I'm gonna just put my goals out there now so that I'm being held accountable by multiple different people, including anyone who watches my videos and cares about whether or not I actually complete my research. So what I have made progress on, I have submitted an abstract to a conference. It is currently pending review. Hopefully I get accepted. That would be really exciting. If my abstract gets accepted, all that means is that I would be presenting a poster at a conference that's happening over the summer. But if it does get accepted, then that will be my very first conference presentation, like ever. So I'm like, fingers crossed that my abstract gets accepted, because it's like simultaneously so exciting but also so terrifying. But like, I want to do it, so we'll see. I'll update y'all. When do the emails go out? Hold on, let me check. Okay, so I will know in April whether or not my abstract got accepted for this conference. So probably in my end of semester, end of second year, actually, whoa. End of second year. I don't know why that just hit me. That it's almost the end of my second year. Anyway, end of second year recap video will be when I will be able to let y'all know whether or not my abstract got accepted to this conference. So still a little ways away, but everyone keep your fingers crossed for me. So that's where I've made progress. Not so much progress is that I'm still editing my manuscript. Not gonna lie, I haven't really looked at it in a couple of weeks. It's just, I have this thing where it's just like every time I look at it, I just get tired of it. You ever get tired of reading your own writing? Like, that's where I'm at with it. Like, I wanna get it done, but every time I have to go back and reread it and edit it again, I'm just like over it. I'm sick and tired of reading my own paper. That's what it is, which is causing me to procrastinate on it because I don't want to read it again. But I am still determined to get that done and submitted to a journal. And so is my advisor. She really wants me to submit that paper. I'm looking down because I'm like fidgeting with my fingers. She really wants me to submit that paper. I also really want to submit it. I'm just really tired of rereading it over and over again. I'm gonna go back to it. I will. And then we have my dissertation, which I have just recently started to make some more progress on. I actually had an undergrad student who was interested in the lab that I'm in, asked the lab manager if she could speak to me because she's particularly interested in my research. And that was really exciting because up until now, like with my master's thesis, I did have like a few people helping me on that. But over the course of time, people kind of fell off the project. And I think it's because, you know, when there are master's students, even undergrad students trying to get into PhD programs, they kind of hop on whatever project. They try to hop on any project they can that they can end up putting on their CV for their applications. And then once applications are in, they kind of stop really caring about the project. And I feel like that's kind of what happened with my master's thesis. And so I was going into doing my dissertation, I was actually talking to my advisor about this recently. I was very hesitant on actually putting together a team to help me, just because I didn't want that same thing to happen where I have a team and I'm delegating tasks and then ultimately I kind of end up having to do everything myself when I didn't anticipate having to do so, because people kind of just fall off the project, stop responding to my emails, you know, stop showing up to meetings. But I did meet with this undergrad student and we had a very lovely conversation, and she seems really, really enthusiastic and eager to help me with my project. And it's partially because she's also very interested in the same topic. So I decided that she would be a great person to help me because she is so enthusiastic about the topic. So she is now helping me with my dissertation, and we're gonna start working on, the lit review very soon for my pre-proposal. I actually just emailed her earlier to schedule that meeting so we can start talking about it. And what I was so focused on and productive with earlier today was putting together an organizational system for us, because usually working on my own, when I'm doing a lit review, it tends to be very, very chaotic. I have links and resources and everything kind of scattered in different documents everywhere. And I knew that with her helping with this lit review, that wasn't gonna work. So I spent all morning putting together a system for us. And so hopefully that will kind of help us streamline everything and keep everything very organized for one another. But yeah, now that she's on the team helping me, it kind of kick-started me because I've also been procrastinating on starting my pre-proposal. Because it just feels so daunting. When you hear the word dissertation, it just feels very intimidating and it feels very overwhelming. And those feelings have prevented me from really getting started in the way I wanted to, because I feel like my mind is if I'm not making leaps and bounds every time I sit down to work on something for my dissertation, then it's not worth trying to get done. I don't know why my brain works like that. It just does. So that's probably why I spent 3 hours today just working on that system for the lit review. Because that felt like a very big task that needed to get done before I meet with her next. And so now that that's done, I'm like, all right, I made some progress. I also worked on like a timeline. I worked on like a timeline for my dissertation, or at least like up until like my proposal defense. So my timeline now starts from March going all the way up to December of this year. Because that's, my goal is to have my proposal written and defended before Thanksgiving. But naturally, I'm giving myself a little extra time just in case. And then once it's defended, I will extend the timeline for the next couple of years for when I'm actually gonna be doing my study. But I tried to do that and it felt very scary. So I just stopped at December. So yeah, also having that timeline has kind of put into perspective just how little time I really have, which is now like, okay, I really gotta get things moving. So yeah, things are happening. Things are happening, but not really happening when it comes to my research. We'll see, I'll keep y'all posted. And yeah, so overall feelings, I mean, to be quite honest, I'm kind of on autopilot right now. Like I said at the beginning, my sense of time right now feels very warped. Like I know it's the end of March, but it doesn't feel like the end of March. And I think also a part of why I'm on autopilot is because I'm at a point where I kind of have to figure out what I'm gonna be doing over the summer. And I don't really know what I'm gonna be doing over the summer. And for some reason that's causing me a lot of stress. And so my brain's way of limiting that stress is to just not think about it like at all. And I think that's why my sense of time is also warped, because my brain doesn't want to remember that the summer is right around the corner in all actuality. I don't know. It's a lot, but yeah, I'm just kind of here. I'm living. I'm just going about my days. And another part of that too is like, I said I wanted a very boring semester, and like that's exactly what I'm getting. And so it feels very like flat, you know? Like there's nothing really particular happening with my classes, nothing really particular happening with my clinical cases. Externship match is over now, so that stress is gone. So yeah, I'm kind of just here. I'm kind of digging it. I'm kind of liking just being here. I really wish every semester up until this point was like this and not so chaotic. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Month and a half left in the semester and we're just trucking along. So anyway, with that being said, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching, especially if you made it all the way to the end. I truly appreciate it. Leave me a comment down below if you have any questions or suggestions for future videos. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and click that little notification bell so you don't miss my next upload, and I'll see you in my next one.